This is the National Day of Protest against Immigration Reform, Amnesty, and Border Surge. This is at the Little Rock Mexican Consulate. This is just now started. In just a moment, I'll be mic'd up by the press. The pro-illegal alien press is here. Channel 4 is here. Associated Press is over here. He's getting his camera ready. And we've got about a dozen or so people here right now. We'll hope to get some more people here later. We'll get started momentarily.
On the ice border on eastern Ukraine.
They want this one?
And we are going to make sure the truth is out.
Mr. Obama called this hour for immediate cease.
I've got on Rush Limbaugh right now.
As for the involvement of the Russians in the unrest,
I'm going to take some pictures and I'll get started in just a little bit.
Again, President Obama confirms one American was among the 298 people who died on Malaysia Airlines Flight 17. I'm Stephen Portnoy, ABC News.
I'm Adam Thomas with the latest from News Radio 1029 KARN. Walmart may be losing its competitive edge in the grocery market.
A new report from BMO Capital Markets is out this week that Walmart isn't as big of a threat to Kroger in recent years. Walmart has lost aggregate market share in about a third of its top 20 markets in the last 3 years, including its #1 market, Dallas-Fort Worth. Kroger operates more than 2,000 stores nationwide, while Walmart has about 4,000 in the U.S. Sarah Beckman, News Radio 1029 KARN.
The Hot Springs deputy who was injured while helping residents evacuate a burning apartment building has been released from the hospital. Sergeant Roy Williams with the Garland County Sheriff's Department suffered first and second-degree burns after a burning ceiling fell on him. And a local biker is organizing a protest over immigration reform. Colin Weatherall tells Fox 16 the motorcycle ride will begin at War Memorial Stadium tomorrow, go by the Mexican Consulate, and end at the state capitol.
Yeah.
People want an answer.
Go to the state capitol tomorrow.
Yep.
I don't have a motorcycle though. Show up anyway.
Yeah, I'll show up at the War Memorial and then I'll end up at the. Then I'll probably just. I may follow him in my car or something.
From the growing threat posed
I had one. Sean claimed it.
Where they start? Where's it start?
War Memorial Stadium at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Until tonight,
we
rain
need
this
to do.
afternoon, eventually
We got my
tapering off.
motorcycle
A high below 70. Shower or storm around tonight, below 62. For Saturday, partly sunny, warming back up to 82, 84 on Sunday. Next news in 30 minutes. I'm Adam Thomas, News Radio 1029 KARN.
One of the really fun things we do at
Hey, can we motorcycle be there?
where we ask school kids to design covers for our books.
I got an art contest for you. As soon as I heard that I won, do more.
We love it, and users and advertisers love them too. We've given away more than $300,000 to kids and schools, and we're still going strong. Check online at valleypublishing.com for how your kids and school can get involved. Teachers love the contest too.
Prize money for the kids and for the school.
So it's not just an honor for the students to win, but it also brings about a financial reward for the person to be able to receive that back into the student education. And it's really wonderful when people support the art and education. So thank you, Dan.
It's our pleasure. Check valleypublishing.com for the next cover contest in your community. Arkansas News, weather and traffic is First News with Kevin Miller.
But it starts at the bottom of the
Hey, help yourself to the signs like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rush Limbaugh. We return to Mark Stein. Yes, Americans and demand. There's a way that he will return on Monday. Don't forget if you go
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to make a speech in just a little bit.
Mark Stein and Maddie McHill still college a few times over the years.
Yes.
on your computer, around the clock, 24/7.
Matter of fact, I think I may move this over to here. I think I may move. I'm gonna sit right next to the Channel 4 cameraman. He probably knows more what he's doing than I do.
You can
Get a better shot of the crowd here.
Bite-sized chunks in the middle of the night to your heart's content just by becoming a Rush 24/7 subscriber. And there is, of course, also the Ditto. So any known form of delivery system, RushLimbaugh.com can bring it to you. Mark Stein, great to be with you. I said earlier that over 100 people on that flight may have been on their way to the AIDS conference in Melbourne. That's what President Obama said. He said nearly 100 of those killed may have been heading to that conference. In fact, it looks like it might be a bit lower than that, substantially lower than that. In fact, lower than 10. But they include
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to speak about
representative of the World Health
this
Organization,
issue.
Glenn Thomas, who was on that way to the conference, and Lucy Van Nens, who was involved in HIV prevention work. So you got all these AIDS and HIV specialists who were on that flight, but it's not 100 as the president said. It may in fact be closer to 10. Let us go to Ed in Norfolk, Virginia. Ed, you're first up on the Rush Limbaugh show today.
Well, thank you very much, Mark, and it's a pleasure to speak to you, and I appreciate you letting me speak to me.
No, it's great to have you on with us.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm about to say a few words about this event and then a few words about illegal immigration in general. 7:20.
Looks like they're gonna be kind of filming this way. Everybody want to kind of gather around. Yeah, maybe. Oh, okay. Part of the National Day of Protest against immigration reform, Amnesty and MINNSIR. This is a nationwide event organized by several groups, such as Overpasses for America, 2 million bikers from DC, November 1986, Riders USA, and MINNSIR, as well as TeaPartyCommunity.com, TeaPartyTribune.com. This is a nationwide protest against the surge of illegal aliens that's perpetrated by corrupt officials in our country as well as third world nations, mainly Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. For decades now, the third world has seen fit to dump its poor and neglect it, making the responsibility of the U.S. taxpayer. Sadly, this has been at the expense of taxpayer funds as well as lives. We lose. A study done by U.S. Representative Stephen King of Iowa showed that 12 Americans are murdered daily by illegal aliens, and 13 are killed by drunk illegal aliens or drivers, making an annual death toll of 4,745. More Americans have been killed by Mexico sponsoring of illegal immigration and by acts of terrorism, including even the acts of terrorism today. That doesn't include those who die from the narcotics, drug trafficking. Most majority hard drugs, meth, cocaine, brought in from Mexico. And now we have the threat of pandemic diseases. Forms of tuberculosis, measles, mumps, other diseases that were cured years ago are now coming back. Many of them are resistant to some of the antibiotics. The United States of America is the most generous nation on earth when it comes to immigration. We allow more people than any other country. We give asylum to more people than any other country. People coming in from wars. Sadly, our immigration system has become corrupted at the expense of our people and really at the expense of people living in third world countries. The 1986 Amnesty was supposed to be in. We'll let you give you citizenship, secure our borders, and we'll hire them illegals. These other nations are supposed to reform. That didn't happen. We're still waiting for the border to be secure. Not for money to be spent on the border, and then we can do the kind of way that it was there. There's a camera behind you. We're not waiting for money to be spent on the border. We're not waiting for a bill that promises to secure the border. We're actually waiting for the border to be secure. And it's just not happening. After today, tomorrow at 10 a.m., the 2 million bikers to DC gather at War Memorial Stadium. They will have a similar protest. They will ride around Central Arkansas and end up at the Arkansas State Capitol. There'll be a lot more people, hopefully a little bit better weather. But that's why we're here. I'm going to give the floor over to some other people to have kind of their say. There's some people here that have relatives who are affected by immigration one way or another. I'm going to kind of turn it over to somebody else.
I just want to say that the whole thing is has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with changing anything. It has to do with the fact for American citizens or immigrants, every one of us, one way or another, or children of immigrants. The fact is, though, done legally, and though it's just like I watched the video the constantly walk out the path.
Humorous President. As the country faces an unprecedented surge in the arrival of unaccompanied alien children, UACs, at our southwestern border, we call on you immediately to end the failed policies that encourage young individuals to put themselves in peril, leave their home countries, and make a long and dangerous journey to enter our country illegally. Instead, we must work with Congress to expeditiously end the sustainable wars. In recent years, your administration has vowed to circumvent Congress, ignore immigration, and act outside the scope of executive powers that promote desired immigration practices. Now, our Border Patrol agents, Immigration and Customs Enforcement Department, NYICE officials, health and education services communities along the southwestern border are overwhelmed by this crisis that must be addressed immediately. On June 23rd, 2014, the Department of Homeland Security promoted an opinion editorial by Secretary of Homeland Security Jay Johnson that attempted to dissuade young foreign nationals from entering the United States illegally, but pointing out that they will not receive preferential status under any one of your promised programs. As the written price of peace suggests, the current surge is far more than a humanitarian crisis resulting from violence and economic failures in Central America. The perception of eventual legal status is generated by your administrative actions. To counter these perceptions, we must take concrete action beyond editorials and press releases. We must end the failed policies that stimulated this unmanageable situation. Firstly, we call on you to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, better known as the DACA program. This program was created without congressional support by your administration in June 2012. While the current program only applies to arrivals prior to 2007, the very existence of the program contradicts prison law and violates the constitutional principle of separation of powers, which remains primary law. The executive is not choose which laws must be Following the end of these three destructive efforts, you should work with legislators to ensure vigorous oversight of our generous asylum system to a fraud and abuse. The National Security Subcommittee of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee has conducted oversight of fraud and abuse in the existing asylum process. As Congress considers legislative proposals to ensure our system is preserved for conservative applicants, we urge you to cooperate with congressional leaders to provide accurate data on the recent surge legislative reforms that ensure the safe, creature issue, minor children, family members, and other countries provide everything necessary to secure malady. Sincerely, General ICE and several other members of Congress, as I mentioned before, Tom Cotton, Representative Director of the Office of I should have enough copies for all members of the press. stop separating families from one. I see myself with a pregnant woman coming across in an interview on the road. Walking herself across. Now, the question is that not separating the family? Two, the fact is that children are now flooding across the border. Again, is this going to separate the family? It is. What I'm saying is no one wants to separate the family. If you're illegal, all of you go back over the border and come back legally. You come back legally, with the passport and all that, God bless you, eat at my table, drink a cup of tea with me, and feel good. But the fact is that if you separate your family, then you're going to get mad, or you're going to try to use emotion to manipulate the public. That's not appropriate. It's a game. This is not a game. This is children's lives. This is Americans' lives. This is our livelihood. This is their livelihood. It's not a game. And people playing like that with people's sides. We're playing at a game. Bring a little child out there, everybody goes, whoa. That's not the situation. You separate the family. You don't really feel guilty about it. I don't feel guilty. I'm sorry. Guilty. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say that.
You didn't break it.
And those that are home over here legally, like I said, love for peace. You know, God Americans, God bless them, God bless them.
Follow our laws, pay our taxes, do right like you're supposed to do. Come across. Nobody cares. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's not a race thing. It's not a gender thing. It's America.
Every week, hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants are flooding across our southwestern border, Texas, California, and Arizona. Tens of thousands of these illegal immigrants are children. Since October 2013, over 57,000 unaccompanied minors have come across the southwestern border. The saddest and most unbelievable part of the story is that this influx is being sponsored, funded, and supported by our own federal government. In 2013, President Obama visited Mexican President Peña Nieto and apparently made some sort of an agreement with Mexico to relax their northern border. I say apparently because Mexico has historically had a strong southern border, but recently it seems that there's no border control at all coming from Mexico. The Mexican and the Guatemalan presidents met on July 7th and agreed to make it easier and safer for Central Americans to travel across Mexico's southern border through Mexico into the Rio Grande border to come into the United States. Mexico is creating what they're calling a regional visitor pass. They're creating more and more border checkpoints and migrant care stations to care for these people as they're coming from Guatemala to go into the United States illegally.
Gee,
As
maybe
President
they sent the police
Obama
down here to see if there's any illegals.
demanded that this activity stop. No.
They won't do anything.
On the contrary, he's made a deal with Mexico to legalize Central and South Americans to come in on dozens of trains per week. The trains are filled inside and on top with illegal immigrants. Obama has ordered America's Border Patrol to stand down and stop apprehending illegals, but instead to complete their paperwork for them so that they can become what they're calling legal. They receive taxpayer-funded housing, loans, food, welfare. They're given voter ID cards. They're signed up on the Democratic Party automatically. Every day, tens of thousands of them are loaded onto buses and shipped across the country to wherever they want to go. under whatever name they want to use. The TSA has been told to allow them to fly without verifiable ID. If you or I or any other American citizen tried that, we would be immediately detained and arrested. The illegal immigrant influx is adding to our debt, which is already over $17 trillion. They're receiving more free services than American citizens. Food, housing, you name it. Obama has asked Congress to approve $3.7 billion in emergency funding to address the immigration influx at the southwestern border. New jobs have been created to manage the cases of the illegal immigrant children in the foster care system. One advertisement advertises that foster families are eligible to receive reimbursement up to $6,054 per month for taking care of illegal immigrant children. The Obama administration awarded a $50 million grant to the Baptist Children and Family Services in Texas to buy a resort to house illegal immigrants. They have since subsequently withdrawn their bid due to public backlash, but they were planning to buy a resort to house illegal immigrants. The border surge presents a danger to public health and safety. Some of these illegal aliens are carrying serious diseases such as scabies, tuberculosis, and others. Some diseases that are unknown in the United States are in danger of becoming endemics. The symptoms of tuberculosis are similar to the symptoms of pneumonic plague and bubonic plague. So it's possible that if someone were carrying the plague and the workers thought it was tuberculosis, they could be released into the general population with plague. Many of the illegal immigrants are gang members or part of the drug trade. So this is also increasing the risk to the safety of the public. Violent crime has increased in the past few months and will continue to increase when the surge continues. Illegal aliens are given driver's licenses and allowed to drive on American streets even though they don't know the rules of the road. One policeman in Texas was killed when an illegal driver was going the wrong way on the freeway and he was killed by this driver. President Obama is acting alone on immigration reform and not executing the laws of our country. Obama has told his advisors to send him executive options by the end of summer that might make some strides on immigration reform without Congress. On July 16th, Obama assured the Congressional Hispanic Caucus that he would use his executive power to reduce deportations of illegal immigrant families who have been living and working in the United States for years. It is estimated that 90% to 95% of the new illegal immigrants will not be deported. Obama is sending a message to Central and South America that if you get to America illegally, you will not be punished, and you will receive first-class treatment, rehousing, food, clothes, medical care, education, legal services, tax-free income that you can send back to your country. President Obama's failure to execute and defend our Constitution and secure our borders is destroying our economy and our security. The American people have had enough. We resent the buying of voters with taxpayer money. We resent the fact that illegal immigrants are receiving a free ride while our veterans die while waiting for health care, and Americans are homeless and hungry. We call on Congress to take immediate action to denounce and defund all illegal immigration activity and to reinstate and strengthen our border security. We call for the immediate deportation of all illegal immigrants who show up at the border and expedited deportation review for those who are already in the country. We call for all voter IDs issued to illegal aliens to be revoked. No illegal aliens should be allowed to vote in any federal or state election. We call on Arkansas Governor Beebe and our legislators to refuse to host illegal immigrants and provide them with public benefits, just as other governors such as Iowa and Arizona have done. Every American needs to get educated on this issue, stay informed, and call your senators and representatives for action. We need to take action today to stop the destruction of our country. The American way of life, the reason that everyone wants to come here, is in danger of being destroyed if we do not take action immediately. Thank you for your time. I'm Patricia Mays, State Representative, candidate for District 10.
Amen.
Very well stated.
Stuff at 31:30.
Thank you, Patricia.
May I ask you a question? What do you get the fat status that you're saying that illegals, they have tuberculosis and a lot of kind of disease? Do you have any medical record coming out that is saying the fact that people coming from borders, they got disease?
CDC.
Actually, I'd like to ask you this. Do you guys vacation in Mexico?
No.
Do people who serve you, do you know if they have been vaccinated against these things? You don't. I bet you've been to Cancun, Bahamas.
Mexico is so dangerous. It's not good to go to Mexico.
Well,
the
a lot
drug
of the
cartels and everything over there. Our own government says don't go there.
Only the vacation resorts are supposed to
Have
be
you
safe.
been there?
them.
Have I been there? Yeah, I was there.
You got it bad. If you listen to the government, you got it bad.
I think we should rise above argument.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well,
You're a sheep.
No benefit from argument.
That's true.
They need vaccine.
exactly. Let me read part of a document called Christian Doctrine on Illegal Immigration. I won't read the whole thing because it's 15 pages, and I'll have copies for the press. I'll just read it from St. Augustine. No. I mean, the Christians of all denominations. On November 5th, 2008, Bishop Anthony B. Taylor of Little Rock introduced a pastoral letter entitled, I Was a Stranger and You Welcomed Me, to the Catholic Church and to the public. The purpose of this letter is to portray illegal immigration as a Christian right, to indoctrinate Christians into supporting illegal immigration. Final verses written in this is, first and foremost, Christians are to lead others to the Lord. Mark 6:15, we said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to the whole creation. The church also has an obligation to help the poor. Luke 14:13, when you give a banquet, invite the poor, crippled, the lame, and blind. Preaching the gospel is to be done to anybody, free to prisoners. Things such as food pantries and soup kitchens can be made available to whomever the church chooses. Christians also have the right and obligation to be involved in political issues. Pastors and churches can officially endorse a candidate and can encourage congregations to lobby for or against certain legislation. 501c3 laws that are designed to stop nonprofits from engaging in politics are almost never enforced on local organizations. Christians both have a right and obligation to involve in the politics of the United States of America. The 2008 election placed in power many people who do not have good records of dealing with issues from a Christian perspective. It's going to take the help of Christians to lobby on issues such as abortion, taxes, homosexual marriage, and the free exercise of religion. Christians appear to have shown an understanding of these issues. Christians recently helped pass Proposition 8 in California, which overturned the legalization of homosexual marriage by Baptist courts. Christians once again followed the body biblical principle despite legal threats from anti-Christian groups such as the American Civil Liberties Union. However, on the issue of illegal immigration, many Christians are confused about what to do as individuals, as a church, and as a nation. Most of the confusion centers on the difference between legal immigrants and illegal aliens. When legal immigrants and illegal aliens are mixed together, it makes it difficult to decide what rights illegal aliens have or what obligations U.S. taxpayers have in helping illegal aliens. Illegal immigration and legal immigration are two different issues. Legal immigration is a system that can benefit America and other countries, but only if it can be controlled. America is not obligated or able to accept every poor person from every country, and Christians did not make any such demand. The current legal immigration system is overburdened and needs reform, not more applicants. Immigration laws are justified and need to be enforced, not ignored. Christians should focus more on demanding reform in third world nations. Illegal immigration is the source of evils such as identity theft, welfare fraud, illegal housing, illegal driving, drug smuggling, rape, murder, child prostitution, and terrorism. It is a system similar to slavery that is an evil that is not needed by our economy. It is destructive to the citizens of the United States of America. Legal immigrants and millions of citizens living in corrupt third world countries. Support for illegal immigration is not loving the Lord or loving thy neighbor. Christians should lobby for laws that reduce illegal immigration. such as Oklahoma Bill HB 1804, which reduced illegal immigration throughout the entire state. As a result of HB 1804, Oklahoma has the lowest unemployment rate in the nation. This was at the time. This was written in 2008. Christians can also fight for ballot initiatives such as what was at the time the Secure Arkansas ballot petition that didn't pass, which would require proof of citizenship in order to obtain state benefits. Laws that reward illegal aliens are proposed, such as House Bill 1525, which would have given in-state tuition to illegal alien students. Christians can join other concerned citizens in stopping such proposals. The 15 to 20 million illegal aliens in the United States are criminals. Just as Christians in the United States fought to end slavery and child labor, we can solve illegal immigration through attrition and enforcement, and we are justified in doing so. Below are some recommendations on how Christians can stop illegal immigration. 1. Ask God for wisdom and guidance on this and all other issues. 2. Pray for an end to government corruption in nations abroad and here. Corruption is the number one cause of poverty, which causes people to emigrate. Fight against government corruption. Christians can speed up riot, protest at consulates, or lobby their elected officials. Educate one another on the immigration issue. Don't take the word of the mainstream media or leftist organizations. Demand that churches not be used as sanctuaries for illegal aliens. Lobby for bills that reduce illegal immigration, such as bills that require proof of citizenship or benefits. You can email, call, fax, or talk to leaders in person. Lobby against bills that support illegal immigration. There actually are several state pieces of legislation that could be copied, rewritten for Arkansas. Make sure that programs that help the poor do not enable criminal activity or further sinful acts. Make sure that programs that help legal immigrants both inside and outside the church are used to help legal immigrants become U.S. citizens. We want people to become people legally. Help them become citizens. Join organizations that oppose illegal immigration on a national and local level. Do not associate with organizations that advocate criminal and sinful acts, such as APO, La Raza, or LULAC. Have your church add recommendations such as these to its governing law to avoid confusion on how to deal with this issue. Anyway, this is Christian doctrine on illegal immigration. I wrote this when Bishop Anthony Taylor wrote his pastoral letter a few days after Barack Obama was elected. And since then, it's become more and more important to get churches involved in this issue. Sadly, a lot of churches are being used as relocation areas for illegal aliens. So far, there has been no location in Little Rock or in Arkansas that is designated or has been an official possible location for illegal immigration. There is one in Memphis. There's also one in, I believe, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. That is a location. There's two places in Memphis which I believe are being thought of as possibilities. However, many illegal aliens are being simply dropped off at the homes of people without the knowledge of any government officials. The governor of Nebraska recently found out that illegal aliens are being relocated to his state. He was not notified in any way, shape, or form. So this could be happening, and we may not even know it. Where we are right now, the Mexican consulate usually has a fair amount of traffic. Most of that's of the some 60,000 or so illegal aliens that are already in this state.
I'm going to say, I don't think it could be happening. It is happening. Those church sanctuaries you're talking about allow for a community of people to absorb illegals. It's going on right here, right now in Arkansas.
Okay, so it is from people from the surge are being dropped off here. I mean, it probably has been for years, but it's so hard to figure out when and where. A few years ago, I knew of a bus drop point that was in southwest Little Rock that I filmed where illegal aliens were being dropped off, and we managed to get it shut down. But it's kind of stop and go. It's such a fluid system usually that it's hard to determine when and where illegal aliens are being dropped off. But it is a problem that's happening here.
But there are some other problems that ought to be discussed in conjunction with this problem. And I think one of them is the drug problem in this country.
Sure. Why don't you go up here so they can get you on film?
I don't know that I want to be on film. Does that have to be on film?
No, not really. You can just talk.
I think that we ought to be talking about a number of problems. You know, we're busy legalizing what were illegal drugs in states in the Union, and they're talking about trying to do it right here in Arkansas. And anybody who thinks that we can have substances that were illegal at one point legalized and not contributing to the problem that may be driving some of those people out of that country down there is silly. So I don't know if there's anybody here that's in favor of legalizing marijuana, but I would think that that's an issue that is related, and we ought to be doing what we can to persuade people that maybe decriminalizing is okay, but certainly we shouldn't be legalizing drugs in this country. It's just nonsense.
Agreed.
Well, the biggest drug problem we have in the United States, and what's bringing our country to our knees, starting with our kids, is methamphetamine. 90% of it comes across the border. You can't get the chemicals here to make it anymore.
So
China brings in ephedrine by the shipload, sets it off the Gulf, and brings it into Mexico as they need it.
I wouldn't debate any of that. But you know that marijuana, actually tobacco, is a gateway drug. Anything that starts a person out on that track is a gateway, and we ought to be thinking about those kinds of things. I mean, if you try to just isolate one problem, you don't think comprehensively about the whole situation. It's problematic.
It starts with just simply following the law. We've got laws.
We've got laws. That's the biggest problem.
But if nobody's going to enforce those laws, the laws aren't worth the paper they're written.
They're going to make more laws. That's not the problem.
No, we don't need any more laws. Just enforce the ones that are on the books.
It's the leaders that aren't following the laws that we got the biggest problem.
The President of the United States right now has the authority.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
The President of the United States
You ought
has
to
the
be
authority
ashamed
right
of
now
yourselves.
to bring the
Fighting against
the
children.
National Guard to the border
Against babies.
and stop it from coming in here.
Against babies.
We're trying to keep babies from being overdosed from meth. We're trying to keep babies from overdosing on Mexican ice that comes up from the border.
Nah, you're not trying to do that.
Yes, we are.
No, you're not. You're trying to go against children. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
The U.S. government.
How would you feel if it was your kid?
The U.S. government has the authority
Peaceful, yes.
and
Saying
has
you
the
don't
ability
want children
to stop
here.
this. All they have to do is
Children
put the
of God
National Guard
that
on
you
the
go
border,
to your church on
and they come
Sundays
across,
for.
Send them back to the other side. They came here on their own. They can get
You
back
go
on their
to
own.
church and you say, "This is my body of Christ."
Border Patrol.
Christ
for that.
does
But
not
Border
say
Patrol is
send
not
children
processing
to
them
death.
take them into the country. Now, what
May
is wrong?
God
What
forgive you,
do you see
people.
wrong with that?
Everything.
Now, when you talk about separating families, I'm not going to Mexico and leaving my wife and my kids to Mexico.
And you wouldn't leave your kids
I'm not going
in places,
to do
and
that.
your
I'm going
wife
to
in
take
places
and I'm
that
gonna-
are killing those
I'm going to
kids
fix
daily.
my country, take the corruption out of my
Your country-
so that I can
your
make a
country
living
was
and
made
make a
on
fair
many
living in
groups.
my own land.
Many groups of people, many different
My own land.
languages.
It's possible.
There's
Mexico
illegal
has all the
immigrants fighting
resources
your
that they
wars
need
right now.
to do their own thing, to make their own living and make their own way. They have all the resources. But 2% of the people in New Mexico has all the money. 2% has all the money. That everybody else is poor. Well, that's what's coming down to this country right here. You're going to have a few elite people have all the money, and they're going to have all these slaves, including us, working for them for absolutely nothing, begging for peanuts. That's what it's coming to,
Believe
folks.
that too, don't you?
That's what it's coming to.
That's the sad
You don't
part
think that's
about it. You
right?
actually believe
Look
it.
around. Look around. Look around. That's all you got to do is look around.
No more middle class.
No more. None. It's
Yeah,
going
while
to be
you
the
wait, there's
haves
some
and all
rattles
the
when you're
have-nots.
getting happy
Just like
hour,
Mexico
huh?
is.
Right.
Just like Guatemala is. Just like all these countries. I feel sorry for these people. I hate it that they're like that. But fix your own country. Don't come to mine and screw mine up.
Absolutely.
Don't come to my country and mess my country up. Don't do it.
Where is your district?
Don't do it.
My district includes 5 counties. Jefferson,
We have good police officers of Little Rock.
Okay, we got the Little Rock police officer here because we got a shout out there. Exactly.
What? You don't want me to get mad?
No, we don't have to get mad. Just tell the truth. Tell it like it is.
The truth is like I stated. The truth is come mad. It's like bouncing off, and the American people are just as much to blame as these people do. Because the American people will not stand up and say enough is enough. We should have the city of Little Rock right here, right there.
Can I have your attention?
We have scabies here.
That was very good. I want to compliment you. This issue's been going on in our country for years and years and years. What we get thrown in our face every time you raise your voice is you're a racist. You're not compassionate. America's a nation of immigrants. This is all true. Okay? No, it's not true. We are compassionate people. There's no other nation in the world that has as liberal immigration policies as the United States.
2 million people a year legally.
That's true. Legally. That's true. That's true.
No other country's going to do
this. This country, our country is dealing with the worst economic depression we've had since the 20s.
Yes, sir. Getting worse every day.
It's ironic that the number of jobs is created in our economy since 2008 barely match the number of immigrants we bring into the country. Let's talk about American citizens. It's not a black issue, it's not a white issue, it's not a Latino issue, it's an American issue. We got a $17.5 trillion deficit. What's the deficit about? We're borrowing money. The country is bankrupt. We got a foreign policy where we support countries that give a flip about the United States, our income, our education, and our standard of living. They just want to bring us down. And all we do is the leadership of this country takes our tax money and gives it to countries that hate our guts. They raise the taxes on the middle class. You're right. They're doing away with the middle class. You're fixing to have a have and a have-nots.
When I was growing up, when I was a child, 13, 14 years old, I worked in fast food. That's the way I made my money growing up. It was never meant to be a primary income. Never meant to be a primary. Now they're saying they're going to strike because they want livable wages. Well, I'm sorry, those jobs were never meant to be a primary income. Those jobs were meant for our young people to grow up and learn the value of a dollar. Amen. To learn and make their own way.
And your corporations are doing that. Your corporations, not the workers.
Like I said,
go after the corporations, not the poor.
When a child grows up and he works to make his way, that's great. But tell you what, primary income was never meant to be $7.35 an hour. Now that's the only jobs they can get. Hey, I went to work cutting up chickens. Obama says we have jobs Americans won't do. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. I cut up chickens on a debone line for Tyson.
That was before Americans got lazy.
I did that. I was an American. I did that.
That was before Americans got lazy and had welfare taking care of themselves. 35% of white Americans are on welfare. It's the highest number.
Please.
No, I won't.
I know attention.
Do you see these two children? They are biracial. They came from my body.
I'm biracial too.
Watching what you were doing to other children, and God help us.
All kinds of things are happening.
Well, listen,
let me finish. We are talking about a thing that creates great hatred, great anger, and many people in tears. We have got to start offering solutions. There are solutions that are offered. Some over here say, get the National Guard, get our school buses, ride to the States, yippee-yi-yo. All right? There'll be a lot of damage done with that. All right, well, I'll work something down. There's other ways of doing this. One, the fact is, number one, we've already got a lot of legal experience. It's going to be a fight with lawyers and all that. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be nasty. Number one issue is to secure the border.
Stop it right now.
Stop it. Because if I've got a flood, I can run around with napkins and clean all that water up forever. But if I don't stop the bleed dime, I'm going to be napkining my life away. The ideal is with the hate, with the fight, with the fuss, secure the bleeding border so that then we can start working with what we've got, figuring out answers, figuring out solutions. But number one issue is build the wall. Stop it. That way those that
Kenny
come
Wallace,
will
there's a
come
sign-in sheet
legally.
somewhere.
They'll come through the border agents, they'll come at the stations, and these people that have come like that, I'll be there with a cup of tea and cream.
Well, do you think building officials?
I think that's the first time.
A group called Keep Arkansas Legal.
Building,
They go under it, they go through it, they cut it down, they put a
if
ladder.
you build a fence, then you use the National Guard or whatever.
That's how it's gonna work. At the border, you have to.
You have to secure the border. You don't just, I don't just plug the thing and not glue it around.
It takes multiple things. To secure the border, it'll take, part of it will be a wall, part of it will be National Guard, part of it will be the National Guard with authority to actually fight against the drug cartels, which currently own the border now. It's already a militarized border. But what we need now is to take those parts.
Technology.
Yeah.
That's not a militarized border.
My fellow Americans, you're tap dancing around the issue.
You're a mile of unsupervised border. I can go down there right now and take it. There's a whole mile not supervised.
Oh, yes.
Right? Whose fault is that? It's us because we've elected the politicians who are taking out of our back pocket and giving it to somebody else.
Absolutely. We have no leadership.
They've allowed it to happen. And actually, they've encouraged it.
They encouraged it. There is a surefire answer to stop it right now. It's called E-Verify.
Yeah, it's just,
every single one of you that's educated. I'm not talking to low-educated voters. I'm talking to Americans that are educated that follow the issue. That you can get out and we can rant and rave and spew the hate. I'm not talking, I told you earlier, it's not a race issue. I do not have a racist bigot bone in my body. I've raised my family the same way. I feel sorry for these people. I find myself wondering what kind of parents let their kids that have come thousands of miles from South America weigh themselves across Mexico, North America.
Guess what?
And Obama?
Biracial children.
We got a president that less than 4 years ago went down to Arizona, told the American people, mocked the Republican Party and Jan Brewer with a little smart comment like, the border's secure. The border's secure. These people will not be satisfied until we build a moat around the United States. I ask you, how secure is the border when a 12-year-old kid with about 50,000 other 12-year-old kids that cross the border? That's a secure border? Are we talking high-tech CIA secret stuff here where they snuck into the country? They swam across, they took a ski boat in broad daylight while our Border Patrol runs a taxi service. Our Border Patrol is running a taxi service that basically to the bus station, and as soon as they leave the border, another jet ski brings another one across.
Border Patrol said they used to run from them, now they run to them.
It's crazy.
They don't run from them, they run to them.
What kind of common sense government leadership do we have when our own president refuses to enforce our laws?
Well, you hit upon something.
We don't have an immigration reform issue here. We have laws in place, do we not?
There you go.
E-Verify.
I got news for you. We passed the law in '86.
You're whining about our immigration system.
The leadership in this country told us in '86 there was 1 million illegal immigrants.
Get your papers.
It was a two-part. We're going to give them a path to citizenship.
9/11 was committed on visas.
And we're going to secure the border.
Your immigration
You know what happened?
laws don't work.
We gave those 1 million. Did I say 1 million? It wasn't 1 million. It turned out to be 2 million. And after they got their citizenship, they had the right to bring in their sons and their mom and their dad. It wound up being 6 million after '86. We were told 1 million. If you believe for a second there's only 12 million here, it's probably closer to 15 to 20. And when the 15 or 20 bring grandma or grandpa in, what do you think it's going to do to the social safety net for your elderly, for your unemployed? What do you think is going to happen to the taxes?
It's all about please. What if?
I ask you, do we have immigration policies in place? Do we have laws?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What would it take? Enforce the laws we have.
That's it.
Well, our leadership, do you think for a second, if they wanted to, if our leadership, the people we elected to represent us, if they wanted to, do you think they couldn't do something about it? E-Verify works. E-Verify, you stop what's bringing them here, jobs. Like you, like most of us. I feel sorry for anybody in the world that has to live in circumstances at that type of level.
I don't want them here.
I feel sorry for anybody in the world that has to live under a government that doesn't care. Their government could do something about it if they wasn't too greedy, if they wasn't too corrupt. Our government could do something about it if they wasn't too greedy and it wasn't too corrupt. You want to blame the Democratic Party? No. Let's back up and talk about the lobbyists on the Republican side. Let's talk about Tyson Chicken that wants the chicken pluckers. Let's talk about how friggin' in the meatpacking industry, the job scale has not come anywhere close to keeping up for Americans working in the meatpacking company or the chicken plucking companies. Those are American jobs. And not that they're too lazy to work on the roofing job or the construction job.
No, they just won't do it.
You got roofers and you got framers in this country that want to get out. Can they compete with an illegal Latino roofing company that does it for half the price? Can you afford to feed your kids and send them to school and give them a better standard of living trying to compete with illegals? Is that right? Where's the leadership in this country? Why is it that the leadership cares more about the illegals than they do? I guarantee you.
Your kids with my
you get pulled over on the side of the road and you don't have your driver's license. What happens?
My taxes
no ID.
Your kids to go to school.
They're going to run a background check on you and you can find yourself down at the local police department.
I pay every month.
What happens to an illegal when he gets pulled over?
What about my taxes? What about
We're profiling.
I wonder how many illegals are here now, and if the police are going to do anything about it.
No, they've been told
this has gone beyond being a compassionate issue. Yeah, they got kids, and I care about kids like most of us here.
Yes, sir.
Who wouldn't?
Yes, sir.
Then why are you?
But they're hurting my kids, and they're borrowing the money from China at $17.5 trillion. They're raising taxes with bilingual education. I mean, have we gone mad? Has the country lost its all common sense?
The leadership has lost it.
Why do you even sit there and listen to this garbage?
Not enough people are coming out and making
You're right. We got too many low educated. We're too involved with your TV sets, your Nintendos, your smartphones, sports, golf,
apathy and cynicism.
Soccer, they go international games, whatever.
It's apathy and cynicism.
You're going to wake up tomorrow and you're not exactly like you said. They're taking our country away. Not them, our government, the leadership.
You know,
they're more interested in the lobbyists and the voting bloc.
Okay.
There's a voting bloc for tomorrow.
Okay, let some other people.
One second, my friend. You said true. Apathy. All right. Right now, the fact is, you've got thousands of people in Little Rock. They know this is an issue. They worry about it. They even pray about it. But then they change the channels and go get a beer or a sandwich from the refrigerator.
Absolutely. It's apathy and cynicism.
It's lazy.
Well, it's either apathy or cynicism. They either don't care or they don't think it matters. They don't think, and sadly, it's due to disappointment from the leadership of both parties. In 2010, there was a Tea Party revolution. I got a lot of conservatives elected into office. They were supposed to stop Obamacare, reduce the size of government. That's what they were elected for. They turned out to not do their job. By the way, in 2010, we also the GOP made an 8% gain in the Hispanic vote. So this whole myth about the GOP can't take a strong stance against illegal immigration because they'll lose the Hispanic vote is a lie. They've actually lost the Hispanic vote every time they've tried to pass comprehensive immigration reform. But most of the time, the people I run into that try to get involved, their attitude is, I don't care, they're all the same.
It doesn't directly affect me. Why should I worry about it?
Yeah, it's either that. It's either it doesn't affect me, or there's nothing I can do about it.
Nobody understands what the underlying consequences of what's going on.
And sadly, the powers that be,
it's low educated.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
the Washington DC lobbyists and media and PR and commentaries, including the ones on Fox News, they don't care about the local people fighting to try to take care of this issue. But if we can do like what we did in 2010, where we get people involved, convince people to get up and say, you know, I may fail this time. I mean, and more than that, I may fail this time, but I'm going to try again. And yes, we're all immigrants. We're legal immigrants. We're citizens.
The key word right there is legal. And not one of us has spoken against a legal immigrant. No. Regardless of the culture, the race, or any other item, we've all supported any immigrant who is legal or is in the process.
Absolutely. Come in here. What does it say about a people? What does it say about America? When we sit there and there's the people that sit there and go through the process. They pay the money. They do the wait. Do the time. They do the time, and they work with the system. And yet we turn right around and make it hard on them. Our policies.
They can't come because they're trying to do it right.
Is it like, but we reward the illegals? Yeah. What does it say? America has always been known for loving a winner. But America at the same time doesn't like the line breaker. You ever seen the punk at the theater that jumps up in front and everybody wants to keep the peace and you don't want to start any trouble, you keep your mouth shut.
Except for the Irish.
You embellish the punk to keep breaking in front of the line. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to reward the illegals and make it hard on the people that want to come to America legally.
Without a bunch of money
about a Mexican man that came to my church. My pastor, he worked his way through the system, and my pastor supported him because he had
children that are going to die.
Come here and do something. He had family here. He went through the complete system. He went to Memphis and took classes, driving back and forth himself. When this man came over to our church, all he could do was be a janitor.
You need God, hon.
What did I do? He needed tools. I went and bought him tools. You gotta have tools to work. That man is an incredible individual. He's a very strong family man.
Not the man that holds up his sign saying, let me
did everything he was supposed to do and went by the law, paid his money. And he is now an American citizen. And I admire him. I help him whenever I can.
Thank you.
That's what brought my great-great-grandfather here.
You're stuck up in a story of a guy who came here legally and you're just yelling. Shut your mouth and listen.
He had a craft. And that craft, my grandfather died.
There's a very problem right there.
$20,000 to his name. But he owned 160 acres of land, and he earned every bit of it. He sold timber, he sold rock, he sold soybeans, whatever he could do, but he worked for it. And he had a craft when he came here. He had something to give this good country.
And we'd have a lot more.
And he went through the system. The system is what, the Bible is a system. The 10 Commandments are a system.
If you come to this country, you do it the right way. You pay your taxes, you follow the laws, just like we're supposed to do. And everybody does their part. Everybody contributes their part. That's what makes America great. Absolutely. But when all you do is take and take and take, and don't contribute anything, there's a problem. There's a problem. Man, I love everybody. 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 I don't care what color you are, what you believe in. That's your business. If you're doing it correctly and you're following the laws and you're assimilating to our way of life, I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. I'll help you. I'll help you. But when you take and take and take and never contribute anything, it won't work. It will not work.
What's your name, sir?
Eddie Hards.
How do you spell your last name?
H-A-R-D.
Are you here with an organization? Or?
No. I'm an individual.
Oh, what brought you out today?
I'm concerned.
About what?
About the illegal immigration problem we have, yeah.
Can you tell me what your sign says?
My sign? Well, this is not my sign. I'm holding it for somebody, but I will to protect our borders.
And how would you like that to happen?
Well, there's probably several ways it can happen. Our government could get off their lazy tails and send the send the National Guard down like they should. We could spend the money that we already allocated where it's supposed to go as far as building things, putting our resources to work, technologies out there to know when they come across.
What do you think should be done with the miners who are in country?
Well, they need to be sent back to where they came from. They got here on their own. The trains go both ways. The train has to go back. Put them back on the train and send them back there. Why should I spend $3.7 billion of my tax money? And I'm going to tell you something. I write some pretty big checks at the end of the year. Very large checks. Probably more than most people make. I don't mind paying my taxes if it's going for what's right. But when I pay taxes and I watch it going down the tubes for stuff that's not right, people that are not contributing to society,
it's infuriating.
It really upsets me. It really upsets me. I work hard. I worked really hard to get to where I'm at. I've done well, but I did it the right way. I have some responsibility. I'm electrical contractor.
I know. I'm joking.
I'm here at the radio station.
What radio station?
It's 88.
It's David with the Examiner, right?
No, it's Kenny Wallace.
Kenny Wallace, I'm sorry.
Yes, I have a website